In the heart of the South lies a city that rose from the ashes, Atlanta. Her residents have lived through trials and jubilation, but like the phoenix that adorns her crest, she continues to rise. This is the soul of Atlanta. One of the oldest sections of the city lives close to its center, Old Fourth Ward, bordered on the west at Piedmont Avenue, the north at Ponce de Leon, the south at Oakland Cemetery, and the east by the Beltline lives a neighborhood flush with history and a growing diverse population of businesses and residents unlike any other in the city.
Fourth Ward mean history. Back in the day around the Civil War area, of course, a lot of black people doing good for themselves around here, so, they started a race, right? They burnt all this down. After that, it turned to like a hustler strip. Auburn Avenue was a strip that had pimps, players, hustlers, all sorts of people. So, So it seemed like from that history into the culture, everybody from Fourth Ward be trying to get some money or be trying to do something to the next level. Everybody moving and shaking, trying to get to some money, trying to call their slice of the, quote unquote, American pie.
The foremost thoroughfare in Old Fourth Ward, Boulevard, was in the 1890s one of the city's most desirable residential streets. After the Great Atlanta Fire of 1917, Boulevard's grand houses were destroyed and replaced by brick apartment buildings. A few blocks over from Boulevard lie Buttermilk Bottom, an African-American slum with unpaved streets and no electricity. Deconstructed in the 1960s to make way for the Buffalo Jones Atlanta Civic Center and other development projects, the bottom was later immortalized in a book by H. Victoria Atkinson and now houses Renaissance Park and Central Park. In the last 30 years, Old Fourth Ward has seen a boom in development where once were low-income housing, now live skate parks, the Beltline East Side Trail, a booming business district, and million-dollar homes.
At the time that we were looking for a store, we had this opening here on Edgewood Avenue in Fourth Ward, and we decided it'd be a great place to have the store, being the traffic from all the surrounding establishments, and also that it's like in a historic site. Like right next street over is Martin Luther King's house. We have all these important churches nearby, and we wanted to become like an integral part of the Atlanta community, stand for what Atlanta is. And so Fourth Ward seemed like the perfect place to do that.
It's home. I got here before most everybody else did. It has a history for me of being thought to be completely insane to have come to a neighborhood where there was so much crime and there was so much unrest with the coming gentrification. And my goal was to bring something good for the community. I definitely didn't want to drive anyone out. The developers, of course, have had something to do with that. It's become a neighborhood that's almost unrecognizable to what it was before, but I still love it like it's, part of my family.
Fourth Ward means to me community. Fourth Ward to me means a family. My story with Fourth Ward is that I spent a lot of time in Fourth Ward. Unfortunately, a lot of that time I struggled with addiction. So I got to know a lot of people, did work for a lot of people, and had a bike that I was riding around on selling snacks in Fourth Ward. So to me, Fourth Ward is family and community.
It influenced my music from like certain slang, like lingo, like if you go back to on first Fourth Ward day, trench, you can smell the trench on the street, wild young buck, yams, that was an urban street lingo. That's what we used to call call the hustle. Yams. Now you'll hear songs now with cats who not even from Atlanta, and they say songs with yams. I got songs called yams and may not even know where it originated from, just heard it and it sound cool to them, and they used it in the song not knowing that lingo originated right here in Fourth Ward.
So I've been in Old Fourth Ward since 1997. We wanted to make a difference. The neighborhood was in some different forms of peril, and the building that we were in originally on Highland caught the fire and the heat from a massive fire across the street the day we signed our lease. All of the glass in our building was blown out, and what caused the fire was a bad drug deal that went off with the murder of the drug dealer and the fire being set of the 3 houses that were across the street from us that were all crack houses. It naturally gave me some trepidation about being here, but I thought, well, what are the chances of that ever happening again? When we opened our doors 2 years later, because it took us that long to build out the building we had. We didn't even have a roof when we started. We had a line around the corner, and we maintained that line for about a year because nobody had ever had an artisanal ice cream parlor in Atlanta. And here we were coming into a neighborhood nobody really knew about.
We've gotten a lot of support from the neighborhood, the surrounding Edgewood neighborhood, the old Fourth Ward neighborhood. Everyone seems to come together like a pretty tightly knit community. Everyone supports Atlanta, and it's been pretty great.
Yeah, you know, as I look back, the community is very proud of me now, but it was almost like as if the community was watching a movie. You know, they knew I was struggling, like, you know, in the earlier part of my addiction. They knew I was struggling, but, you know, they still supported the business. They saw the journey. They saw the struggle with addiction. They saw the times I pulled up on my bicycle with 1 or 2 bags of chips. And, you know, sometimes they even supported me and gave me money to go stock the bike up. So they pretty much saw the journey. And so now to see the journey go from a bike to brick and mortar, it's quite inspiring to a lot of people.
I've been in Fourth Ward 30 years. Fourth Ward, dynamite, prominence. It's growing, but let the people who's suffering around here grow with it. Grow with it. Don't leave us out. Let us be a part of it, because we are the historians.
With the opening of Ponce City Market in 2014 and what was formerly City Hall East, the future for Old Fourth Ward is as bright as any neighborhood throughout Atlanta.
Because of the Beltline, it has become a very diverse, very exciting, very dynamic community. It's one of the hottest neighborhoods in Atlanta for a reason. I've watched the kinds of people come in to open up businesses do beautifully. It's a really good cross-section of people in general, and I feel very much at home here.
I've seen the community improving. Unfortunately, some of that improvement is kind of pushing a lot of people out. A reason for us to have a dirty business, disorganized business, and we keep reasonable prices. So, you know, I know that it's possible to improve the community without pushing people out.
Unfortunately, it's not the best thing that some people are being pushed out of where they, you know, have lived all their lives. But on the other side of the coin, it is like a good thing for like small business owners that are getting the chance to, you know, reopen a new establishment that might have been closed for some time on Edgewood or something surrounding. There's, you know, both sides of the coin on that.
It's pros and cons, everything, you know, like with the $700 houses, meaning that, you know, a lot of people who can afford that house, a lot of the original inhabitants of this town, of this city may not be here no more. The whole face is changing. Yeah, it's bringing the economy in, but everything is changing. It's really the effects of gentrification. And we one of the last neighborhoods to kind of start feeling it, because it started over there in Summer Hill, Kirkwood, you know, so now it's coming here, West Side. They're making it where either you got a loft or if you got a house or you got a big family, you're not even staying in Atlanta no more. Because everything else, well, you can't raise no family in no 2-bedroom loft, no matter if it's $2,200 or not. It's not inhabited for a family, so people who got families gonna have to move.
We want better things, but also we as we grow the economy, we want to also grow those services that help people that are struggling. You know, Fourth Ward was, you know, had a lot of issues with homelessness and addiction. I was one of the people. You know, so there still are a few people in Fourth Ward that are struggling with the same issues. So I would like to see, as we grow and we continue to move on, I would like to see a more balanced growth.
I think more people are going to be getting out of their cars and getting on foot. We are getting ready to build our own shipping container village here at Irwin Street Market, which we're very proud of, and we're going to be making it more affordable for people to get food. We're going to make it more affordable for people to start food businesses. So that's going to be a big piece of what we're a part of. But you're going to see a lot of growth of all kinds of businesses. We're getting a hotel across the street, which is a very big deal.
I mean, shoot, no matter where you go, home is where the heart is. You know what I'm saying? It's like no matter how successful I am or how far I go, I'm going to always have something to do with the folk, because this is like the lessons I learned here on these streets and lessons I learned that helped me go to the places I went to, so I can never forget that. Like, I learned how to deal with people from being in the streets of Fourth Ward. Like, now I know how to talk to this kind of person or talk to this kind of person just from learning street lessons. And also, I went to a good high school too, so I also had the best of both worlds. You know, so I learned a lot about the streets, but then I also learned a lot in that school too.
I see it's getting better business-wise, economic-wise. But like I say again, let me be a part of that economic growth. Because I've been here. I live here. I sleep on the streets here. You should be able to say, hey, come on, we got a little something for you to do every week or something. I'll be glad to have it.